Welcome, everybody. Again, apologies for our tardiness. Um, Partly my fault. But today, obviously, I'm joined with my favourite colleagues as usual, our lovely lady Gina Lever and my good friend Red. And Red covered a couple of things in his live earlier on that I wasn't privy to. So I'm going to let Red kind of start the ball rolling, and we're going to kind of follow on from there. So, as we normally do, we wing it. On you go, Red. Thanks.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, thanks very much. Good to be here. I love being with you guys. I like doing OP digital blueprint because obviously when I do my lives, I'm on my own, and I have to draw on what I've researched and all the rest of it. But here, we can put a topic in and we can all discuss it and have our own different viewpoints, which is what I actually love. And Jeanne mentioned just before we came live that my topic I had today on emotional strengths is something really that doesn't deserve just to be 1.5 hour live. There is so many departments and so many parts of emotional strength that we can expand on and we can talk about at length. And I think it's really, really important that we do talk about it, because one of the key elements of emotional strengths, which really did resonate with me about how important it is for us as a community to come together, and that was to build a strong support system. And that really is the epitome of what we have here in our organization of our business. Chris mentioned it the other day on his live that next month in June, it is 3 years since the last founder joined the OnPassive business. That means the minimum time of anybody who's still engaged, who's still here, is 3 years. And that community spirit of people around us certainly helps that emotional strength. And what I loved about the topic today really was everybody can relate to it. Everybody. Doesn't matter where you're from, doesn't matter what you are and who you are, everybody can relate to emotional turmoils, ups and downs, how they've got through certain parts of their life emotionally, how they've dealt with it, and all of these aspects of emotion. Everybody can relate to it. And as I said in my live today, that when we're talking about emotional strength, it conjures up all sorts of very strange images, doesn't it? There's the personal life, and what you have to deal with in your own personal lives, but also there's the business end of emotional strength that's really important to be able to get to that success part. It doesn't matter who you follow and what you read, everybody, and I mean everybody, states the same kind of things about why people are successful. And in reality, it is that blind determination to keep going that makes people successful. But you can only do that part if you've got the emotional strength. Why? Because of the amount of knockbacks, because of the amount of negatives, because of the amount of obstacles that are put in your way to stop you being successful. And I'm not on about necessarily the company not doing what it says it's going to do on the tin. I'm talking about actually people around you, people who are going to knock you sideways, because they don't necessarily know, they don't believe, they think you're stupid, all these sort of things. This is why you need to have emotional strength and the resilience to push through that part so that you get to that success. And guess what happens then? They're going to turn around and say, how did you do it? The ones that are telling you you can't do it now are the ones who are going to ask you how you did it. This is part of that emotional strength you need, the resilience you need, and all the rest of it to make a success in your business, whatever you're going to do. Anyway, I'll start with that. Edit back to you, Andy, and then we'll take it from there.
Thanks, Red. Great start. Jeanne, I'm sure you've got some bits and pieces that you'd like to add to that.
Well, I agree with Red that today's topic on his live was just, there were so many aspects of it. He went through all these different categories of, ways that emotional strength, helps you in your life, all the different aspects of your life. And I was just thinking as he was speaking now that one of the things that it gives you is the ability to respond as opposed to react. So like, if, things are going to happen in life, we're going to, as Red said, we're going to have the highs and the lows. Things are going to happen. People are going to, God forbid, die. There'll be, accidents, things along the way, challenges. And if we react, we're always going to be in this sort of panicky, knee-jerk energy that doesn't give you that place of power. And when you're able to have your wits about you and have that emotional stability and centeredness, you're able to, and Ash is a perfect example of this. When things hit the fan around him, he doesn't, spaz out and react to every little thing. He pauses, he thinks, he gets himself into that calm state, and then he responds. And Chris even talked about that today, where something happened at the rehab, and Ash was speaking with a person at the front desk or whatever, and his ability to, even when he might be, say, upset about or something going negatively, he's able to respond from that place of emotional intelligence and centeredness. So it's a great example for us. And I just think that as we move forward into this new phase, if we are not, we talk about like getting our mindset correct and all of those things, but if we aren't in control, I don't want to say control, but if we don't have the emotional strength to get through what comes, it's going to make it much more challenging for us. And I mean that for the good things that happen and the more challenging things. So it's like, say, people that win the lottery. Yay, that's wonderful. How great. That's got to be great emotions, all of that. But then there's the stress, the people coming at you, like Red said, the people coming at you sideways. And, maybe there'll be people saying, you need to give me some of that. That's too much, just everything out of something that seemed very positive. So if you don't have that emotional balance and strength within you and work on it now while we have this pause, then it's going to just make everything more challenging for you. And that applies to every aspect of your life, as Red said. So that's all I wanted to say right now. Andy, thanks so much.
Thanks, Jeanne. I kind of come at it from a slightly different angle, from if you like, from my perspective and what's happened from the way I see it. There are several points that have not only kept me at this point, but made me more excited the more I get into it. Now, not only have we got a sizable community that all has this similar belief. Yeah, so we're all of the same mindset first and foremost, but we also support each other because we all have this common belief, and we all follow somebody who knows what he's doing, has done it before, will do it again, and has absolutely no way that this guy will ever give up. Now, for me, that gives me strength anyway. Now, we know everything happens for a reason. So all of the various bits and pieces that have gone on in the past, most people would have given up. The fact that Ash has not given up gives me the strength to go, do you know what? I'm still 100% behind this man, because if he won't give up, then neither will I, because he's the one at the coalface. I'm sitting back in my on my sofa, but I still have the utmost belief that this guy will do exactly what he says on the tin. And having this support group around you just brings you further up each and every time you get together. So, getting together with you guys when we do the heroes on a Sunday, or the OTEC pros they do on a Saturday, listening to some of these others, you just get this emotional lift and strength from all of these other people that have exactly the same mindset. This is going to happen. This will do what it says on the tin. We have no doubt. And that, as I said, the fact that he will not give up. If he's working on the coalface and I'm sitting on my sofa, then why should I give up? Yeah, absolutely. So, that's kind of the way I view it. But I love the point, a Red Maiden, and you've kind of added on all of these people that are naysayers, and all of my friends. Oh, I've heard all these things about OnPassive, and I go, oh, really? They have no clue, because they're not part of this network. They're on the peripheral, so that all they're doing is taking whatever negative energy they can do from other, instead of being part of the positive group, and being at the coalface and understanding what's going on. So I cannot wait. How did you do that? It's going to come. It's going to come. Red, over to you, mate.
Yeah, thanks, Andy. It's funny what you were saying actually about Ash and doing what he's doing, and you talk about resilience and strength emotionally. Man, this guy's got abundance in it, hasn't he? What he's had to endure, what he's had thrown at him, and what he's been through, and here he is, still there, still beavering away, still trying to make a difference. Not for himself either, by the way. For us. It's funny, really. I think the more you get to know the man, the more you understand that money is not his drive. Money is not in his equation. He had money before he started this whole journey of OnPassive. That wasn't what he wanted to try and achieve. That wasn't his goal. His goal was to make a level playing field for everybody to succeed, without the corruption, without the rubbish that goes on surrounding it. He wanted to do it, and he had an idea. I mean, I'm a 2018er, and his idea back in those days was that I know that he went to many people within the industry with his idea, and he showed him this idea of what he wanted to achieve, and they said, nah, mate. So he decided to do it on his own, and that's a big decision to make with him and his family. Everything was on the line doing what he was doing, his reputation and his career and everything, to do what he's doing for us. And he's shown amazing strength emotionally and resilience in where he is now. I am going to quote him here. He put it in the chat yesterday, actually, on Chris's and Marty's live. He made two really specific quotes, which I think are very important to do with what we're talking about as well, if you listen to it. And he said, whenever I'm in a difficult situation where there seems to be no way out, I think about all the times I've been in such situations and say to myself, I've did it before, so I can do it again. He again goes on to say, the biggest wall you ever have to climb is the one that you build in your mind. Never let your mind talk you out of your dreams, trick you into giving up. Never let your mind become the greatest obstacle to success. To get your mind on the right track, then the rest will follow. This is emotional strength. Okay, this is all about having that positive mindset to focus on where you are going and what you want to achieve, rather than focusing on peripheral things that have no bearing on where you are going. We've all seen the memes and the photos of the guy with his pick in the ground, beavering away under the ground, and you're 10 feet from gold. Okay, we've all seen it. All right. This is exactly why I'm talking about emotional strength, emotional resilience right now. It is because that is what you need to keep going. That's what makes success. That blind trust, you can call it, belief, embuggerance, you can call it whatever you want to do. You can call it whatever you like. But the main point is that you will not fail if you keep going. And that is the difference. When the what's the saying? When the times get tough, the tough get going, or whatever it is, something like that. When the going gets tough, the tough get going. Okay, this is what basically sorts the men from the boys. So my question is, are you a man or are you a boy? Back to you, Andy.
Billy Ocean. When the going gets tough, tough get going. Actually, one of the books that I've read, Napoleon Hill, he explains in this book about a very wealthy family that went into the gold mining business, and they had this claim that they had, and they worked on this claim and didn't get anywhere, and eventually gave up and sold their claim and their tools and equipment for next to nothing to an old gentleman that said, yeah, no one else wants it, I'll have it. And he got a geologist in, and that geologist looked at the land and said, actually, if you go 4 feet that way, you should reach what you're looking for. And he became one of the richest men in America for finding this fantastic seam of gold. But there's a phrase, isn't there? It takes you 80% of the time to get 20% towards your goal, and the other 80% towards your goal takes 20% of the time, because you've done the hard work to begin with. And this is part where we are now, because 80% of the work's been done. And as Red said, the strength of this man to be able to not give up in the face of adversity, and most of us all know exactly what's gone on. We're not going to speculate or anything. We're not going to bring this back up. But bottom line is, I guarantee that 99.99% of all of us would have said, you know what, hands in the air, I'm off. No way, no how. And I believe that he feeds off us at the same time as we feed off him. And that, again, makes a huge difference to the entire picture. So, Jeanne, over to you. What else would you like to add?
Well, you just sparked, Red was talking about when Ash first started this out, he reached out to friends and people in the business and didn't get the support that he was hoping for. He had this fire in his belly and this dream, and he wasn't getting that support. So here he is now, surrounded by people that not only see that vision with him, but love him, adore him, support him in every way we can. And so no wonder he's excited and appreciative of the the support network that's been formed over the years, and he talks about the value of that. It's so anybody out there that's watching that feels insignificant or feels like they're not seen in this family that has been building over the years, believe me when I say you matter. And Ash knows you. He is aware of the people that have been silently out there just standing by him and not giving into the nonsense that's out there. So just know your value and know that it's appreciated, and know that, you know, it's what you're exemplifying is the emotional strength and resilience that Red is talking about. It's like, you know, when Red was saying all of those different analogies, of one that pops in my head, it's not exactly right, but it's sort of similar, which is it's always the darkest just before dawn, like it's like right at that cutting edge before the sun starts to come through. It is pitch black where all seems lost, and then there it pops out. So here we are, we're at that precipice, we're at that moment where it takes a little extra metal inside and a little extra heart, and all you need to do is look to Ash. How much more of an example does this man need to set for us to realize he's the real deal? He's pure heart. He's just he has given us invaluable mentoring every time. Like, he comes onto a chat and drops these truth bombs, and people that are paying attention are seeing the value of that, taking that on and letting it help them become a better person, more emotionally strong inside. And it just, this is, I can't even, like, the journey that this has taken us on is the stuff of books, the stuff of self-help books. You go to a bookstore, it's lined with all these things. We could have written every single book on there, you know, because we've walked it, we've lived it, breathed it, and we owe that to Ash Mufareh and the example, and to all the people who have really busted their cojones, excuse my French, to like someone like like Red and Marty, Chris, everybody that's doing, and Andy, the lives and stuff that are working so hard to make sure people are staying on track, staying focused, supported, feeling encouraged and inspired. I mean, that's something to be very grateful for. So I love this topic. I think there really is nothing more important right now than getting that strength inside of us as we move forward. So thanks so much, Andy and Red.
No, thanks, Jeanne. Any further points that you'd like to add, Red?
Excuse your French, you mean excuse your Spanish, actually, for cojones. But we won't split hairs, that's for sure. No, like I said, this topic is a really interesting one. And like I said, the reason it's interesting is because everybody can relate in their own way. You know, people are emotional, period. And how you deal with emotional things around you is testament to your strength. This is why, you know, some people can handle the heat in the kitchen and some people can't. And this shows really true character. And as Jeanne was saying, that we really are led by an extremely different character in Ash Mufareh. And when I mean different, I mean in a good sense. You know, we are used to people crumbling under pressure, or when things get too hot, they get sidelined, or, you know, whatever it may be. We see it every single day in politics. We see it in real life. We see it, and all the rest of it. You know, when the hatchets are out, people don't last very long, do they? You know, and all the rest of it. But to see the resilience of our CEO from what happened, which he's been pretty open about and laid bare, obviously not 100% of the information has been relayed to us as of yet, but we've got a good idea. You know, if you are in tune with him and what he says and what we relay to you, you will have a very good idea of what has happened. And for him to literally brush it off his shoulders and to go again with something that is going to outshine what was, that is something special. To have that resilience, to have that emotional strength, and to want to do it, more importantly for us, then you know you're onto something really, really good. I would like to point out as well is I do think that not only Ash is doing it for us, I think there's a little bit of him as well who wants to prove an awful lot of people very wrong. The ones that really have tried to railroad him, derail him, sour his name, to prove all the things that they've said about him to be true. I think he's got a big point to prove. And that fills me with an awful lot of pride, I suppose, because I know that not only is he going to succeed in what he's trying to do, it also means that it means huge success for us as well on the other side. I keep saying the same thing. I'm very proud to be in this organization. I feel part of something special. I have a feeling deep inside me that I know I'm on the right path. That is my emotional strength. That is me having that gut feeling that I know what I'm doing is right. If you've got that inside you, then that is your emotional strength. That is what is driving you forward. That is what gives you this rock hard chassis around you, that when things bump into you, they slide by you. They don't dent you. They don't impact you. It's like having this force field that's wrapped around you, that you keep moving forward, banging into things, and they slide by you. If you really do believe in what is trying to be done here and follow the example of our CEO, then your emotional strength and resilience is exactly what we see in our community right now. Back to you, Andy.
Thanks, Red. The gut feeling is the bit that really got me. You meet very few people in life that you go, I can get on with you, or I can't get on with you. We have this gut feeling. I do the absolute utmost never to judge first, to be able to get to know someone and then make the judgment, so you don't jump to a conclusion straight away. But I've never met Mr. Mufara, but I jumped to the conclusion that has only been strengthened with everything he has said and done over the last, well, for me it's 6 years, and you're 7 or 8, isn't it? So when you have that gut feeling, and this is what I mean about the community, we've got this large group, and we all have this same feeling. We're all part of this group because we have met somebody, or okay, albeit online as it were, but we've met somebody that is trying to do something for everybody else, not necessarily himself. But for me, being ex-financial services, if you like, the key things that I caught when he talks was that you're not going to have shareholders, so we're not beholden to other people. It's a private company, and he wants to change the perspective of the way businesses think and operate. Because if you think about this, if you've got companies that are purely shareholders and the shareholders want their pound of flesh, so they're constantly wanting a dividend, they're constantly wanting profits to be high, they're constantly wanting all of these things back out of the company. If you change that around, if you flip the switch and said, well, actually, hold on a second, what we're going to do is we're going to give back. We're not interested in shareholders. We don't need them. We don't need these people that are just going to be interested in this. We're going to do it the other way around. Then you go, and this is again where the gut feeling for me certainly comes in. You go, hold on a second, that I agree with that. This is highly commendable, and it's a first, because you'll never see, and I've never met a president, a vice president, a COO, a CEO, a director, or any other top executive that actually isn't interested in that, in the money. This is something different. So, and this is another reason, if you like, why I am so excited about what is going on. So I'm part of a large community that all thinks the same way, and I love it. Any final comment that you'd like to make, Jeanne?
No, I think we're great. I would just recommend that people go and watch Red's live from today if they want more information about this topic of emotional strength. It's a bunch of different categories, excellent content. So that's all I wanted to add. Sorry, I'm giving Red a
so you get Jennifer Lawrence, Red gets Jason Statham, and I get Daniel Radcliffe.
You get Harry Potter. Harry.
And on that note, thank you very much indeed for joining us, everybody. Well, we hope to see you next week. I will do my best to get back on Tuesday, but if not, I'll do my best to do it on Thursday. So thank you for joining us, everyone. We'll see you soon.
Bye.